Anarchy versus hierarchy. In the realm of sociopolitical thought, anarchy and hierarchy represent two very distinctive, almost diametrically opposed, views. These constructs shape society's interactions and define the lens through which individuals perceive their place in the world. Anarchy as a philosophical doctrine challenges the established power dynamics and rejects the premise of a ruling class. It posits that humans, by nature, are cooperative creatures capable of forming and maintaining structured societies through voluntary associations, mutual aid, and self-governance. The model of anarchy inspires a vision of a world where all individuals are equals, living harmoniously without coercion. Anarchy's allure lies in its promise of unparalleled freedom, a society devoid of imposed structure, where individuality and creativity can flourish unimpeded. It encourages a sense of community built on the foundation of empathy and mutual respect, eliminating the need for imposed order. However, it isn't without its pitfalls. Critics question the viability of such a society in real-world scenarios, concerned about the possibility of disorder and the potential for might makes right scenarios without an overseeing authority. On the other hand, hierarchy is a structure that has become synonymous with our understanding of societal order. It organizes individuals into various ranks, with each level of the hierarchy holding a specific level of authority, responsibility, and power. Societies organized around hierarchical principles foster a culture of discipline, order, and structure, with defined roles and responsibilities. Hierarchy promotes efficiency in organization. It creates a clear path for decision-making, as authority and responsibility are defined. Moreover, it offers stability, as individuals know their place within the structure and what is expected of them. However, hierarchical structures can also lead to power concentration, inequality, and exploitation. In worst-case scenarios, they can foster a culture of fear and suppression. In the great debate of anarchy versus hierarchy, it's important to recognize that these constructs are not mutually exclusive. They represent different points on a spectrum of societal organization. A critical analysis reveals that many societies are a blend of these ideas. Elements of anarchy can be seen in the concept of democracy and citizen participation, while hierarchy is an inherent part of any organizational or governance structure. What matters in this discourse isn't about championing one over the other, but rather about finding a balance that minimizes oppression and maximizes individual freedom and societal cooperation. It's about creating a society that can evolve and adapt, that values its citizens, and that promotes justice and equality while maintaining order and progress. In the end, the true worth of these ideas lies not in their dichotomy, but in their potential synthesis. In discussing the structure of society, it's essential to consider the concept of a hierarchy-free environment. Can society, as we understand it, genuinely operate without a chain of command, without specified roles and power structures? Theoretically, the notion is tantalizing: a world where each individual is sovereign, where decisions are made cooperatively, and where the spirit of mutual aid replaces the need for authority. However, a pragmatic outlook might argue that hierarchy, to a certain degree, is an inherent part of human organization, providing structure and stability. It ensures the completion of tasks and functions necessary for survival and growth, delineating responsibilities and creating a framework for conflict resolution. Anarchy, in its purest form, advocates for such a society where there is no central authority. It's a vision of a world regulated by voluntary associations and mutual consent, rather than enforced laws and government mandates. However, the practicality of this ideology has been a subject of continuous debate. The core question remains: can anarchy truly exist in a sustainable form, beyond the pages of theoretical discourse and into the realm of actual human societies? Detractors argue that such a system, in the absence of rules and an overseeing entity, might descend into chaos. On the other hand, proponents of anarchy maintain that a self-regulating society based on mutual respect and cooperation can indeed exist, offering individuals unparalleled personal freedom and collective harmony. The real challenge lies not only in envisioning such a society but in navigating the transition from our current hierarchical structures to a state of desirable anarchy. Some argue that humans may not be as intelligent as they seem, and consequently, they might lack the capability for effective self-organization. This argument certainly raises some profound questions about human nature and our capacity for self-organization. While it's true that humans have limitations, both in terms of intellect and the innate bias that can influence our decisions, it's important to remember our species' extraordinary adaptability. We've been remarkably successful in creating complex societies, engaging in large-scale cooperation, and solving intricate problems, suggesting a considerable capacity for organization. Another issue, the free rider problem, is a significant concern in discussions about anarchy. This problem arises when individuals, anticipating that they can enjoy benefits without contributing to their attainment, decide to withhold their efforts, thus becoming free riders. In an anarchist society, which largely relies on voluntary cooperation and mutual aid, such behavior could undermine collective efforts and create inequities. However, proponents of anarchy argue that the solution to this issue lies in cultivating a strong sense of community, shared values, and mutual responsibility. They posit that in a society where each person's welfare is understood as being tied to the welfare of the community as a whole, individuals would be incentivized to contribute. Nevertheless, the practicality of such a solution is debated. It requires an optimistic view of human nature and a level of social cohesion that is difficult to achieve. Yet, even if difficult, it's not beyond our reach. History is replete with examples of communities coming together to achieve common goals. In that sense, the challenge of the free rider problem invites us to consider how we might foster a society that encourages cooperation and discourages exploitation. Certainly, the risk posed by individuals with malevolent intentions, who may seek to manipulate and gain power, is a critical concern. In a society devoid of hierarchical structures, one might wonder what safeguards would exist to prevent such a threat. After all, the absence of a central authority could be seen as an invitation for the unscrupulous to seize control, exploiting the openness and freedom intrinsic to an anarchist society for their gain. Anarchists, however, argue that the decentralization and dispersion of power inherent in their philosophy can serve as a robust deterrent to would-be manipulators. They posit that in a society where decision-making power rests with the collective and where mechanisms of transparency and accountability are ingrained, attempts at manipulation would be swiftly identified and countered. That said, creating such a resilient society would demand vigilant and informed participants, ready to defend their autonomy and the communal good. Critics question the feasibility of maintaining such a level of awareness and involvement among all members of a society. Proponents, in contrast, see it as a worthwhile goal, achievable through education and the fostering of a strong sense of communal responsibility. In the end, the viability of anarchy as a safeguard against power-hungry individuals may depend on our willingness to envision and strive for a society that values collective well-being over individual gain. Anarchy poses a bold counternarrative to the conventional wisdom of societal organization. Traditional understanding often equates order with hierarchy, viewing a defined chain of command as essential for stability. Anarchy, however, disrupts this perception by advocating a society built not on a vertical structure of power, but on a horizontal network of free associations and mutual aid. It proposes a system where power is not concentrated, but diffused equally among all individuals. In this sense, anarchy turns the typical social order on its head, challenging us to reimagine societal norms and relationships outside the framework of hierarchy. As we traverse the annals of history and scan the modern geopolitical landscape, identifying truly anarchist societies can prove challenging due to varying interpretations of what constitutes anarchy. However, certain historical and current instances offer glimpses of anarchy in action. They were not successful and can't serve as a positive example, but at least they were considered or self-proclaim as anarchist communities. The Free Territory of Ukraine during the Russian Revolution and the anarchist communes during the Spanish Civil War are often cited as historical examples of anarchist societies, despite their eventual dissolution under external pressure. More recently, the autonomous region of Rojava in northern Syria has implemented a system reminiscent of anarchic principles, with a focus on direct democracy, gender equality, and community economy, although it isn't without its complexities and challenges. These examples suggest that while the path to sustainable anarchy is fraught with hurdles, it isn't an entirely unachievable aspiration. The only successful example is so-called kibbutzim, refer to collective communities in Israel traditionally based on agriculture. Originating in the early 20th century, they were established as part of a broader Zionist plan to cultivate the land and create a new kind of community that was both self-reliant and egalitarian. Kibbutz members worked together, pooling resources and sharing in the fruits of their labor, exemplifying a form of communal living. In a kibbutz, decisions about daily life and work are made collectively, with members taking turns in various roles, including leadership. Each member's needs, from housing and food to education and health care, are met by the community. The original kibbutzim were often viewed as embodying elements of both socialism and anarchism, with their emphasis on equality, shared ownership, and self-governance. However, in recent decades, many kibbutzim have undergone significant changes, moving away from their strict collectivist principles and adopting more capitalistic practices, like wage labor and privatized resources. These shifts reflect a variety of pressures, including economic challenges and changing societal attitudes. Despite this, kibbutzim remain a fascinating experiment in communal living and offer valuable insights into the possibilities and challenges of such a lifestyle. A kibbutz can indeed be considered a form of practical anarchy in action, with its commitment to voluntary cooperation, communal ownership, and direct democracy. In these communities, members come together of their own accord to live and work in a shared environment, embodying principles of mutual aid and equality. Members of a kibbutz contribute their labor to the community and, in return, their needs are met by the collective resources of the group. Decision-making is also a collective process, typically taking place in general assemblies where every member has an equal vote. This shared responsibility and power aim to prevent the formation of hierarchies and promote the active participation of all members in the community's affairs. Moreover, in a kibbutz, there's an emphasis on education and the development of social values, fostering a culture of respect, collaboration, and shared responsibility. It's not just about economic cooperation, it's also about creating a community where relationships are based on mutual aid and understanding, rather than competition and power. Examining the narratives of hierarchical societies through the lens of history, we can see a pattern of achievements and pitfalls. Hierarchical structures, due to their clear delineation of roles and responsibilities, can foster efficiency and order. They have facilitated societal advancements in various fields, from technological progress to administrative efficiency. Yet, the same systems have also incubated power imbalances, leading to social inequality, suppression, and in some cases, authoritarianism. The insights gained from such analysis provoke a re-evaluation of hierarchy's role in shaping society and question the inevitability of its associated drawbacks. The challenge lies in leveraging the benefits of hierarchy for societal advancement while mitigating the risk of power concentration and resultant oppression. Understanding the implementation of hierarchy and anarchy necessitates a deep dive into the cultural fabric of societies. It is intriguing to note that different cultures bring their unique perspectives to these constructs. For instance, some indigenous societies around the world have long practiced consensus decision-making, a concept akin to anarchistic principles. On the other hand, Confucian societies value a sense of order and hierarchy, seeing it as a path to harmony. In Scandinavian countries, the emphasis on egalitarian values could be seen as an attempt to balance hierarchy with elements of anarchy. This cultural lens enriches our understanding of hierarchy and anarchy, suggesting that the application of these ideas is not uniform but rather deeply rooted in the cultural ethos of societies. A key point of contention in the anarchy versus hierarchy debate lies in examining the correlation between hierarchical structures and the twin demons of inequality and exploitation. A pessimistic view of hierarchy posits that such a system, by its very nature, segregates people into different ranks, with each rung of the ladder endowed with varying degrees of power and privilege. This stratification could potentially sow the seeds of inequality, where those at the top wield disproportionate power and resources, often at the expense of those below. It's here that exploitation rears its ugly head, as the powerful may manipulate the system to their advantage, further widening the socio-economic divide. In an age characterized by rapid automation and technological advancement, the dynamics of hierarchy, inequality, and exploitation have taken a new turn. As machines and algorithms increasingly shoulder tasks once performed by humans, we find ourselves facing an unexpected adversary: obsolescence. We're confronted with the harsh reality of individuals deemed surplus to requirements, a notion that's arguably more chilling than exploitation. Amidst this unsettling landscape, suspicions of elitist conspiracies like the Golden Billion theory, the idea that the world can only sustainably support 1 billion people, gain traction. These concerns emphasize the pressing need for a thoughtful evaluation of our current societal structures and the development of inclusive strategies that value every individual's contribution, thereby challenging the undesirable aspects of hierarchy. Venturing into the realm of anarchy, a vital question surfaces: how can an anarchist society safeguard the rights of individuals without the backbone of centralized authority? Proponents of anarchy argue that a society built on the principles of voluntary cooperation, mutual respect, and shared responsibility can indeed uphold individual rights, possibly even more effectively than hierarchical systems. In an anarchist society, every member is both the governed and the governor, eliminating the power asymmetry inherent in conventional political structures. Decisions are made collectively, with everyone's voice given equal importance, fostering a culture of respect for individual rights. Yet, this vision of anarchy raises practical questions about its implementation. Without centralized authority, who arbitrates in situations of disagreement or conflict? How does society protect itself from individuals or groups who might seek to exploit this lack of centralized control for their own gain? Anarchy's answer lies in self-regulation and community enforcement of norms and standards, where the collective conscience of the community ensures that individual rights are not violated. A community practicing anarchy would need a strong ethos of respect for individual rights and a commitment to mutual aid, highlighting the crucial role of societal values in shaping and maintaining an anarchist society. The practicability of this system is a subject of ongoing debate, with critics arguing that it could lead to chaos and proponents asserting that it provides a path towards genuine freedom and equality. The transformation from a hierarchical society to an anarchist one would undoubtedly be an endeavor of monumental proportions. Such a shift would entail dismantling entrenched power structures and redistributing power evenly among all members of society. The repercussions of this process would vary widely, from potential periods of instability and conflict as the old order is uprooted, to potentially more equitable societal relationships in the long run. Yet, the transition's success would largely hinge on the collective commitment of the society's members to uphold anarchist principles of mutual respect and voluntary cooperation. An intriguing proposition is the potential coexistence of anarchy and hierarchy within a single society. While these concepts might seem contradictory at first glance, a closer look reveals possible scenarios for their symbiosis. One could envision a system where overarching societal decisions are made through direct democracy, an anarchistic principle, while specific functional areas, such as certain industries or services, operate under a structured hierarchy for efficiency. This hybrid model would attempt to harmonize the freedom and equality championed by anarchy with the organizational efficacy offered by hierarchy. In the era of digital revolution, technology has become a potent force in shaping societal structures. It has the potential to either reinforce existing hierarchies, for instance, through surveillance technologies, or to democratize society, as seen in the use of social media for grassroots mobilization. Therefore, technological advancements significantly intensify the debate between anarchy and hierarchy, presenting new challenges and opportunities for both models. In an anarchist society, essential services like healthcare, education, and public utilities would need to be managed in a manner that aligns with the principles of mutual aid and voluntary cooperation. This could take the form of community-run cooperatives, where services are provided based on need rather than monetary exchange. These community cooperatives would require strong coordination and commitment from their members, underscoring the importance of community cohesion in an anarchist society. The debate about whether hierarchy is an inherent aspect of human nature or a social construct remains unresolved. While some argue that our primate ancestors exhibited hierarchical behaviors, suggesting an evolutionary basis, others contend that human societies have demonstrated the capacity for both hierarchical and egalitarian structures, indicating a significant role for cultural and environmental influences. The shift towards anarchy could potentially foster an environment of enhanced creativity and individual freedom. Free from the constraints imposed by a top-down hierarchy, individuals might be encouraged to think more independently and creatively. Moreover, the equality and mutual respect inherent in anarchy could empower individuals to express their unique perspectives and talents, fostering a society that celebrates diversity and individuality. Anarchy also promises significant implications for social norms and personal relationships. As power structures dissolve, individuals may find their relationships governed more by mutual respect and equality than by power dynamics. This could lead to more authentic connections, with individuals relating to each other as equals rather than as superiors or subordinates. However, such a shift would also require considerable adaptation and the development of new norms for interaction and conflict resolution. Anarchist societies could potentially offer greater support to marginalized and oppressed communities. As power is evenly distributed, all individuals, regardless of their social or economic status, would have an equal voice in decision-making. This could lead to more inclusive policies and practices, addressing the needs of those often sidelined in hierarchical societies. Moreover, anarchy's emphasis on mutual aid could foster a culture of support and cooperation, helping to alleviate social and economic disparities. Anarchy could indeed offer a potential solution to issues of corruption and power concentration rampant in many hierarchical societies. As power is not concentrated in the hands of a few, but distributed among all members of society, the opportunities for corruption may be significantly reduced. However, this would require a high level of commitment from all members to uphold principles of honesty and transparency. Direct democracy, a form of governance where all members of society have an equal say in decision-making, could play a central role in an anarchist society. Through community assemblies or referenda, individuals could participate directly in forming policies and making decisions, ensuring that their voices are heard. This would contrast with representative democracy prevalent in most hierarchical societies, where citizens delegate their power to elected officials. Promoting equality and eliminating social hierarchies based on race, gender, and wealth is a core tenet of anarchy. By distributing power evenly among all members of society, anarchy seeks to level the playing field, fostering a society where individuals are valued for their inherent worth rather than their social or economic status. However, realizing this vision would require not only structural changes, but also a profound cultural shift towards valuing diversity and equality. Economic disparity is a significant issue facing many societies today. Anarchy, with its principles of voluntary association and mutual aid, could potentially offer an alternative approach. By replacing competitive capitalism with cooperative economic models, anarchy could foster an economic system that prioritizes the needs and welfare of all members over the accumulation of wealth by a few. An anarchist society, with its emphasis on mutual respect and cooperation, could potentially foster more sustainable and respectful interactions with our environment. Rather than exploiting natural resources for profit, an anarchist society might prioritize sustainability and environmental stewardship, recognizing the inherent value of the natural world. Anarchy could significantly impact our approach to education. Instead of a top-down model where knowledge is imparted by a teacher to students, an anarchist educational model might prioritize self-directed learning and critical thinking, fostering a love of learning and intellectual curiosity. This could empower students to become active participants in their education, potentially yielding more engaged and creative thinkers. Community cohesion and interdependence could be significantly strengthened in an anarchist society. As power is distributed among all members, individuals would need to work together to make decisions and manage community affairs, fostering a sense of collective responsibility and cooperation. This could potentially lead to stronger communities, as individuals recognize their mutual interdependence and work together for the common good. Conflict resolution in an anarchist society could potentially be more effective than in hierarchical systems. Instead of conflicts being resolved by those in power, they would be addressed through community dialogue and consensus building, ensuring that all voices are heard. This could lead to more equitable resolutions, fostering a culture of respect and mutual understanding. Anarchy's promise to dissolve the hierarchies that cause societal discontent and disenfranchisement is seductive. Indeed, the anarchist perspective offers a distinctive lens through which to view the many frustrations of modern life, particularly those associated with social inequality, economic disparity, and political power imbalances. Its fundamental principles, voluntary cooperation, mutual aid, and self-governance, appear poised to challenge the current status quo, potentially offering a remedy to those feeling sidelined in a hierarchical world. By restructuring societal norms and conventions, anarchy proposes an egalitarian social model, one that empowers individuals to contribute equitably, fostering a sense of belonging and ensuring that everyone's voice is heard. However, the practicality of anarchy as a robust solution to these issues is a matter of much debate. Implementing such a radically different system would likely be fraught with challenges, not least because people are accustomed to hierarchical structures and might resist such drastic changes. Furthermore, the question of maintaining order, enforcing norms, and resolving disputes remains a significant hurdle. Yet, anarchy's call for a society free from coercive authority, where power is distributed equitably, continues to resonate. It invites us to imagine a world where each person's value is recognized and respected, and where disenfranchisement becomes a relic of the past. It's a vision that, at the very least, compels us to question, to critique, and to dream of alternatives to our present societal arrangements.